Ladies and gents, welcome to TFI, and if you're interested in just knowing what the answer is to the question how to make Vault Professional work on 4K, what you do, this is Windows 10, is you go to the shortcut, right click on the shortcut to Vault Professional, go to Properties, go to the Compatibility tab, and then you tick this box here, Override High DPI Scaling Behavior for System or System Enhanced. Hit Apply, hit OK, open a Vault Professional, and on a 4K resolution, Vault Professional will look peachy and tasty. And that's pretty much it. If you're on Windows 10 as well, right click on the shortcut, the tile thing, go to More, and go to Open File Location. If you don't have a desktop shortcut, right click on that, go to Properties, and then you're at the same spot, Compatibility, and then there's the ticky box there. I'm going to turn it off. So if that's what you were looking for, you're welcome, much obliged. See you later. Hit subscribe and like on the way out. And for the rest of y'all that like to hear me waffle, I'll make a video of it. Right, 4K, man, I hate using my laptop. I'm working on a laptop right now. It's infuriating. It's frustrating using 4K. I'm not going to lie. If you're thinking about getting a 4K screen and you've been thinking to yourself, oh, I'd love a 4K screen, man. Crispy videos, everything will look so tasty at 4K. I've heard so many good things about 4K. I've heard scaling issues, heard people complain about scaling issues, but I'd cope with it, man. I'd cope with it. It'd be worth it. It's only enthusiasts and pernickety people that care about these scaling issues. I'd be able to cope with it just fine. Just fine. No, look at this. This is Vault Professional at 4K. It is completely, for want of a better word, shagged. And shout out to Irvin Hayes Jr., or Junior. I think it's Junior. We don't do juniors over here in the United Kingdom of Brexit much. But I think it's Irvin Hayes Jr. who told me how to fix this back in Vault 2017. It's 2018 now, mate. It's still broken. Autodesk have managed to fix a lot of their applications on 4K, but Vault Professional is one of those ones that's still completely broken. Once you do eventually get logged into Vault, it's not much better either. It's totally unusable. I mean, look at the interface. All the UI elements just do not scale. They're too small, far too small to use. And then when you do eventually dive into the folders, it needs no explanation. You can't work with this. It's totally broken. So the development team need to put some work into getting Vault Professional, and I would imagine Vault Basic and Vault Workgroup as well, to scale properly on a 4K resolution. If you do have a 4K panel, you can either flip-flop between 4K and 1080p to get the application to work properly, or you can just do what I did at the start and then go to the shortcut and make the shortcut work. But pretty much every element of the application is completely, and I mean, look at that. It's awful. It's embarrassing, actually. It is a little bit embarrassing to see this. But yeah, to fix it, you go to the shortcut and then you go to Properties, Compatibility, tick this, and then I thought, right, I've already recorded. This is the second time I've recorded this video, because the first time I just left it as application and it wasn't great. It fixed it, but not perfectly. You actually do need to hit System. Once you do that, the application runs in a 1080p state. You can tell the entire interface is slightly fuzzy. You probably won't be able to notice it over a YouTube video, but the application itself is fuzzy. You can, I don't know if you can see it, but that top bar there, the text is really crispy. It's really sharp, but then these file menus and the tools menu and all them, the drop down menus, they're all a little bit fuzzy. They're running at what looks like 1080p within a 4K screen, but it works now. All the elements on the interface are now completely and utterly fine. They are totally fine. This is usable at 4K. But this is why we tell people, I'll actually say that, you can see the cursor there is absolutely tiny. It's livable, you can get away with that. But this is why we tell people not to buy a 4K screen or a 4K laptop at the moment if you're using CAD software, because not all applications are guaranteed to work. Just jumping between different windows, like I use VMware quite a lot, and trying to run a VM within 4K resolution is a nightmare. You have to mess about with scaling to get the operating system within the VM to look right. And then a lot of the time, a lot of the applications, the toolbars and the menus, they're just totally knackered. This is my screen capture software. And this seems to work fine, but sometimes when you load it up at 1080p and then you switch to 4K, or you switch from 4K down to 1080p, it just destroys and obliterates the interface of a lot of applications, and it just requires numerous reboots to get the scaling to fix itself. A lot of these applications don't fix themselves until you reboot. It's awful. It is awful, but there are times when it's worth it. But this is kind of my personal / work laptop. I do use this for some personal things, so the 4K is worth it for that. But if I was buying something for myself purely to work on, there is no way at this very present moment in time I could ever recommend anybody buys a 4K screen for working with professional CAD software. It's just not going to happen. So that's pretty much it. For the most part, the likes of AutoCAD and Inventor, they work fine on 4K for the most part. I haven't tested many other applications, but I couldn't recommend it for a work laptop either way. So that's pretty much all I've got for this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Toodles!